me go in. What were some ideas? What did you discuss? Daniel.
Just something I just came up with. I think, especially with the new gradnation.org platform, I think sharing some of these ideas through like social media or the new gradnation.org website would be a good start as far as like just being able to show teachers and faculty across the nation that this can be done. I mean, this is a brainchild that has already been, an idea for decades, but the fact that this actually can be done and it can be successful, I think needs to be shared. And I think that's where it needs to start. It's just, preaching to the crowd as far as, what worked and what didn't, and then being able to foster that in other places around the country. So definitely using gradnation.org would be, I think, a good start.
Great. I didn't plan that either.
Tanya asked me how teachers were responding to it, and I hadn't really thought about that. And I realized that the time that we do ours is called advisory, and it's like essentially, but my EP teacher uses start experiments and do class stuff all the time. And she doesn't like it when people leave advisory, and she even supports it. She doesn't like anything.
That's a good question. It takes a lot of people to be involved and supportive. Other thoughts? Oh, back here. You raised your hand once.
Oh no, I'm pointing at
Okay.
We talked about building on the idea of peer influence and going to the post-secondary level, that creating a partnership with a college, because a lot of what we talk about, not with just high school completion, but persistence and completion within college. And so can you create a linkage between your program and maybe a college in your area? There are a lot of service organizations, fraternities, sororities, on-campus groups that probably want the opportunity to work with young people and let them know about your work. I'm sure they'd want to join up.
Yeah, I mean, I love that Monica's point of tapping into existing groups that should be caring about this. Over here.
Just thinking of, someone presented the idea of having every school group be invested, and I don't know if that's exactly what they thought, but I thought if we were talking about if every group could move toward the mission of graduation, and that's our kids in our school, organized as a group, but have one thing they do as a group. I mean, the football team, seriously, if you could say, what are you guys doing? What's your mission to support the graduation? What are cheerleaders doing to support the graduation? What's the Gay Straight Alliance doing to support graduation? Anything, art club, I don't care, but get the kids to invest in that. And they could all tutor or something, something.
Right, absolutely. Other brainstorms, big and small. Yes?
I really like that idea of the waterfall effect. Was it the shepherds that helped us? Waterfall effect. But at the teacher level, because it really is when you're so in, an island of excellence, and maybe the sea of mediocrity, to be invited to something like that. I know a lot of districts are organized in feeder patterns. So if you can reach out to, if teachers can reach out to other teachers and get a small cohort of them started and spread it that way, it feels like it adopts the same pattern of influence that you're trying to promote. So.
Absolutely. Last two. One? Yep, you got one.
I was going to say, I think reaching out, I work for Boys and Girls Club, reaching out to your after-school programs are ways that they can support. One area of impact for us is academic success, so whatever we can do to support our schools and our teachers and our kids and get to that next step, we're here to help you guys, and to be part of that.
Right, so we're thinking post-secondary, we're thinking after school, we're thinking in school and other clubs and sports. Okay, where else? One more thought out there. At least, yes, here we go.
Well, I'm really curious what you found is successful in terms of finding the adult who initiates this within the school, because it seems like that's really critical.
It was hard. I will have to say, I got the response I got when I explained the concept as well as I could is, oh, that's intriguing. But it wasn't, there were fewer than more that said, oh yeah, sure, I'll try that. So I think it's going to take examples. We needed our early adopters, but I think now with these 3 schools and one other, we have more to sell, more to share. But really it took the support of a caring adult who had the time. We're going to hear about what it took to make it okay in the hallways from a principal. But really, I think that's a part of the sell. We were talking about how do we reach the kids, it's how do we reach the adults too. I love that. So if you want to join, you just got to share it. If you want to share it, we'll let you share it.
I was thinking, in another life, I was an English department head, and we had department head meetings all the time. And they would come from all over the city. And I was thinking of some of the teachers who who are getting involved in this, if they attended those kinds of activities, share it there. And then you've got that whole big group of people
Yeah.
From other schools. that
It's
get
about
the
spreading the word through all different ways. We're gonna hear from the students, which is gonna be the best part again, but as we do that, I'm gonna be passing it around. I want you guys to join our learning team as we try to spread this around. So you can put in your email address, your role, and I will follow up as appropriate. As we do a final report with these schools, we will be able to share our learnings on one spot. So if you know somebody who would like this information, we can share it around and see what can happen. So I'm gonna start some of these around as I can invite our students back up here to answer some final questions before we get your questions. So just pass those around and join us if you like, join the learning team. So I have a couple more questions for you guys. I think you may know them. But I want to know why you think this is a good approach. So I want to hear from each of the teams, why this is a good idea. Sell it to us, because remember, we want a big funder for this and we want everyone involved. Why?
So, when we heard about peer influencing, our idea was youth influencing youth. Honestly, what better way is there to get to youth than by youth? Because you just feel like I feel like when I talk to someone who's youth like me, that they're gonna have a better understanding of what I'm facing because they're my age, they're my peers. Our original goal was to just go a few years younger, which is still peer. We're still in school, we're still learning. But as Glenna was saying earlier, we ended up indirectly influencing 2 people in our own group to graduate, which is just, I don't know what else to say. I mean, it's like, when we heard that, it made me cry, because what better way to get someone to do something that you feel is good than getting the peers involved.
Alright, well, we are in high school, right? And to me, high school is one of the toughest, part of your life to get through, because in middle school, you had your parents, telling you, alright, do your homework and stuff like that, but now in high school, it's a whole different ballgame, right? And I feel like influence is, the best way to approach everything, especially in high school, because now you're taking all the tough choices, college next year, what am I gonna do, stuff like that. And if you think about it, everything you do in high school, you do it, with the influence of others. So, you have your friends, and everything they do, you kind of want to go along with that, right? But you want to make sure you're that positive group. I know it's negative influencing, but you want to stay away from that. So, just make sure your group is doing the right thing. And then, if you see other people, if other people are looking at you doing all these good things, they might want to join along with you. You know what I mean? So, influencing, it's the best approach you can have in your school. Just be a leader.
Well, I think peer influence is the best approach because, for us, when we used the girls that got suspended a lot last year, when they became a part of our group, we influenced them, but we also became friends with them so that they can feel that we would be related to them more than a teacher ordering them, you need to do your work, you need to raise your grade, because they won't be listening to adults much. I feel like if you become friends with them, hey, let's hang out with this weekend, did you do your homework? It's not really an order, it's a question, a student to student kind of thing, or friend to friend kind of thing. And with the 9th graders, they also don't want to really listen to teachers, they're just experiencing high school, they want to listen to the older kids if they may seem cooler than them or have more experience than them, and I just think that it's better to use teachers to order them or parents to order them because their friends also.
My last question for me is, what did this experience mean to you as an individual?
To me, this experience was all about helping the younger kids graduate, the freshmen, 7th graders, 8th graders, even going down and trying to have an effect on the elementary kids and just making sure that they know that they're important and they know that they can do it and that every decision that they make counts towards it and they need to be on the best track they can be in order to reach their milestone of graduation.
Okay, to me this experience has been, it has meant a lot to me. I'm the type of person I like to see people doing positive things or going in the right direction. And if you need help, I'm the type of person that will step up and I will help you better. Before this group had even started, I was the type of person that would say, well, it's not like this, it's not like that, show from that. But now that I've been in this group, taught me to step up and be a leader. I'm not scared to be a leader. I'm not scared to step inside of conflicts and try to figure out what resolve the conflict is basically what I'm saying. And
this experience has meant a lot for me, especially relating to the ninth graders, because my freshman year was very stressful and it was a very rough transition. And I felt alone, and only to realize that the people around me also felt alone. And I feel like this group could tell them, you're not alone, we can help you out, we've been through this is what we can do to help you. And this experience has also taught me leadership skills, and it's also taught me to step out of my comfort zone, as I usually don't like to speak in front of large groups of people or go in front of the announcements, but this experience helped me step out.
All right, a big round of applause. We're going to take a few questions. Adults will be able to answer questions too, but I know these are the folks you want to ask us. Okay, yes, we'll do this one and then that one.
My question is to the AAA. When it came down to the girls that were suspended, how did you all go about making the contact with them? Because I know that suspension could be 3 days, 5 days, 10 days, and sometimes it could even be, the whole school year. So what did you all do to be able to get them to connect with you all when they were suspended?
Well, during the time that they were in school, we did have groups like the National Association of Negro Women, and they did come in and they did try to explain to them better ways to
Handle their issues.
handle the issues, and not to argue with someone just because you think that you're right, or not to try to fight them just because you think that it's the right way to approach things. And we help them try to talk throughout their problems instead of trying to fight their problems. So it was just, and we also became friends with them. Like, we didn't just say like, you stop fighting, you do your homework. Like, what did you do this weekend? How has your family been? And then like we've been texting and stuff. So it's just, they see us as friends, and they see us like, you start acting like the people that you hang out with. So they just been doing better in school and doing better in drama.
Incentive-wise for the girls, and this is something important, these students are receiving community service learning hours after school for their time. So when I would tell, said mentoring group to come meet us after school, it was a done deal. Oh, 2 hours? Definitely, I need this toward graduation. So the groups were there with each other, and they honestly really didn't have a choice but to get to know each other and get along. So that
We
worked
had a
well.
question back there.
Yeah, thanks. So I would like to hear from you guys some characteristics or qualities that we should be looking for, right? As this program was being defined for us, we're being told, look for a non-traditional leader, right? Leaders jump out at us, and we get that. But I don't want us also to be defining what is a non-traditional leader. So if we were looking for you out in your buildings as non-traditional leaders, what are the things we should be looking for when we send out our invitations?
Maybe somebody who you can tell that they're thinking something, but you know that they're the type of person that would sit back in the classroom and be quiet and not express their opinion, and just try to get them involved and get them saying what they think and how they feel, what their ideas are.
Also leaders of groups, because in high school we do group ourselves. And there might be a group of people that may not be considered popular, but there's going to be a leader of that group. There is a leader there. It's just they're a leader of that certain group.
Love that question. How about up here?
I'm part of group too, I'm just not one of the speakers. To me, it goes off what Sarah says, there is leaders of classrooms. There are people who are really participative in academia, who aren't as participative in sports or clubs or extracurriculars of any sort. And maybe it's because they don't want to, or maybe it's just because they don't feel like they will be invited. And sometimes you have to go into a class and ask teachers, so who participates in your class? Who talks? Who answers your questions? Who thinks? And from those answers, you can find people you wouldn't have thought of. They're not going to be, they might not be the
insights from the adult advisors when I challenged you to find these folks.
I also went with
Oh,
high.
yeah, go
I
ahead,
went
while
with-
they're planning this, go ahead, Beth.
I went with high energy. I really looked like the class clown. That just needed to be focused in a better direction than disrupting the classroom. So that was besides what they had said about being the quiet kid that was thinking, that was my other criteria.
Other questions? There was one right here, right?
Yeah, one of the great difficulties for being a youth leader is standing up to the opposition, and usually when you do the thing, there's still people who try to stop you. I was wondering, are you all proactive in, addressing them, or do you all wait until those communities come join you all, and then you all work towards the vision?
I'm sorry, could you?
So, I'm pretty sure that, even when y'all, go into your groups, so there still may be, students or pockets in which there may be resistance, difference, or even active opposition against what you all are doing. I was wondering, are you all proactive in going to those areas of resistance, or do you all wait, or not wait and just respond when they come to you?
I say we just wait until the result happens. Right. Show them look, this is what happens after we did this. So some kids didn't really like the whole AD honor roll celebration. It's they're saying, hey, how come I didn't get pizza? And nobody should be getting pizza. But then you show them well, look at our test scores. Look how many people are actually trying now because we are rewarding them afterwards, giving them food and stuff like that. And afterwards they're gonna be like, okay, yeah, that's fine. Then I'll try harder next time and get some food. Because at the beginning everybody's gonna have a problem with your idea. Everybody's gonna be like, oh, that's not fair. Why can't I get pizza just for being here as well? But if you show them the result afterwards, they're gonna be like, okay, yeah, I see why you did it. So wait until.
Time for one more question. How about you? You didn't get a question yet.
I'm a high school student as well, and I'm starting an initiative. Well, we did this last year. We were trying to raise college awareness to juniors in my school. And so what I found is it's really hard to get a lot of students to, a majority of the students participate in such, in such, for the process of getting juniors to, because right now we have only one counselor, and so they are not really able to talk to someone about the college awareness process and financially and things like that. So how did you get a majority? I talked to Juan about this earlier, but how did you get students to participate in such? I know you got sad shirts to help, but
personal invitations work. Get a throw person in there and say, hey, we're doing this today at such time. You really should come, and there's gonna be food. And so I think that was the best way that we got people to come. And also some people just don't want to be helped sometimes too. So trying to have it more than just once also, because they might not realize they need help.
And we also set around a thing where you can sign up, and one person took it to each classroom, and then one person would sign up, and then they would do this with me, so then their friend would sign up, and then their friends would sign up, and it would just go like that.
Influencing.
All right, these folks have agreed to stay after to answer even more individual questions, but I wanted to have one more voice at the table. Mr. Burford is the principal for the Charlotte School, and he invited me down when I pitched the concept to him. He said, I want you to come down and tell this to my teachers in person and really sell it, because I want them to make the decision. So I thought that was really powerful, and I thought it'd be really great if he could share a little bit about what drives him for this idea, and then close this off, and then we can all continue the conversation.
Well, it was amazing when I got the call from Cody. Being in an inner city school with 800 suspensions a year, gang members, people going to prison that are in high school, teen pregnancies, you're looking for something. And I knew these kids had it in them. But it's the adults that keep this from happening. It is not the kids. The kids come to school every day wanting to do the best they can. It's the adults that don't allow them to do that. And so my challenge to you is to believe in the kids. The first thing you have to do is create relationships with these children. The second thing is you have to trust them. And it was funny because when Cody came, I had a couple of my gang members come and talk to her. And I told her, hey, these guys are gang members. And, you know, she went to Davidson College, a pretty nice school. She wasn't used to having gang members come and talk to her. And they sat down and she was blown away. When they left and went back to class, she's like, wow, Barry, those are amazing kids. I said, yeah, and they're going to graduate from my high school. Because we believed them. We trusted them. And we challenged them. And I think that's the last thing, is that we have to challenge these kids. But they're not going to take that challenge if they don't have a relationship with us and if they don't believe that we trust them. We can tell them we trust them all we want, but we have to trust them. And the gentleman's question right here was about, do you guys proactively get involved? You don't want to step in the middle of a couple of gang members that are going to fight in my school. They're not going to listen to you because you're in the Shepherds. Okay? But what we've created is a culture in our school that you don't do that. No fights this year. No physical aggression at all. Not one time. That's pretty impressive. Now, we've had some people that I'll kick your and no, I'm going to kick your, and they're still going to do that. But not like it used to be where they'd walk up to you and punch you. We don't have gang graffiti in the bathrooms. We've got kids respectful to our teachers. There's no FUs. One of the questions we used to ask when I would hire teachers was, the last question was, on the first day of school, you tell Johnny that this is his seat and he says FU. How do you react? That was a question I asked every single teacher that wanted to work at my school. I have to take that out for next year because we haven't had a kid say that to a teacher this year. So you can change the culture, but it's the adults that have to change. You have to create a relationship with the kids. And I think it's sad so much in our society where we look at people and say, you can't have a relationship with that kid. We had a meeting after school one day where an African-American girl from the Bronx, New York, that just moved here at the beginning of this year, her mother told the superintendent, Mr. Burford is my daughter's father. And the superintendent kind of looked at him like, he's kind of pale. But she said, at school every day, he is my daughter's father. And that's the relationship that all of the adults in our school try to have. We take in local parentis to mean something. In place of the parent, we are the parents every day. But to do that, you at home give your kids, chores to do, and you trust that they're going to do them. And you want to go out on a date with your spouse or your significant other and leave them home alone to watch TV and get the little ones in bed at 8 o'clock and do that. We have to trust our kids. When they break that trust, then they have to earn it back. So it's not just blindly let them go and do what they want to do, but we have to start with the trust. And it's shocking to the kids initially because they're like, whoa, no, you're going to give me your key to your car and go get it. What? Because last year I would have stole your car. So we have to do it as adults, and that's what I challenge every adult in this room. If you are a teacher and you came here and your principal's not here, have that critical conversation with that principal and say, look, I want to do this. I want our kids to have opportunities. And the principals or administrators who are in this, trust your teachers, trust your kids, give them the opportunity, and you'll see amazing results. It's amazing.
So I just wanted to close with going back to the book that inspired us all. I have many quotes. You might have seen my book. It has Post-it notes all in it. But one of my favorites, actually two, I'll just go with two. We are all good boys at the risk of a bad crowd. Peer pressure is a mighty and terrible force. So powerful that for the vast majority of people, the best antidote is actually more peer pressure. So that's what's central to this project, is to make sure that there is good peer pressure, and even if there is bad peer pressure. And then finally, so just a closing for, I know it's been a long day for a lot of people, is that what matters to us most in our relationships is our relationships with fellow human beings, the most commanding force of change. It's the humans that are going to change those things. I think we've learned that the relationships are key. And so hopefully you're signing our list, joining our learning team as we can continue to spread this idea, big and small ways. And we just hope you've learned something, maybe reflect on the time when you see peer pressure, both good and bad, and encourage more of the good and the bad. So thank you all for coming. I hope you have a great rest of the day. Go talk to your fans. Go talk to your fans.
Thank you.
Yep, I'll see you. I'll be at. I'll be in Thurgood Thursday.
I think I'm there